Welcome to Focus on Abilities, a program about issues affecting the lives of people with disabilities. I'm Lex Frieden, your host, and I'm a professor at the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston. I direct a program called Independent Living Research Utilization at TIRR Memorial Hermann. We have a very interesting program for you today, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. I'll introduce our guest right after we take a break, but first I want to ask you a question, one that we will answer before the end of today's program. What college or university in Houston hosts a nationally recognized program serving students with intellectual disabilities? We'll get back to that right after this break. Please stay tuned to Focus on Abilities.
Focus on Abilities is brought to you by TIRR Memorial Hermann, redefining rehabilitation, removing barriers, re-enabling independence. In the ILRU Southwest ADA Center, promoting compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Welcome back to Focus on Abilities. I'm Lex Frieden, your host, and we have a very interesting guest today, one whom I'm going to introduce now, and we'll find out what she does in a few minutes. Sue Moraska, welcome to Focus on Abilities.
Hello, good morning.
Now, Sue, your title is Director of the VAST Academy at Houston Community College, correct?
Yes.
What is the VAST Academy?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me today, Lex. The VAST Academy, well, VAST stands for Vocational Advancement and Skills Training, and the VAST Academy is a comprehensive transition program for students with intellectual disabilities at the post-secondary level. And we've been around for about 23 years now, gradually transforming through the years. But we just recently received a Department of Education grant called the TIPSID grant, which stands for Transition Post-Secondary Intellectual Disabilities. And there's only 23 of those in the country, and we're the only ones in Texas, and we're only one of 3 community colleges to receive one of these grants.
Wow. Sue, you say this is a transition program. Now, in general, I don't think the public knows what that means. A transition could be any number of things, but when we talk about students with disabilities, young people, the educational system provides a lot of support for kids with disabilities who are in elementary school and secondary school. But when they graduate from high school, there's kind of a break. There's not so many support programs, and most colleges and universities don't have very sophisticated support services for kids, particularly those with intellectual disabilities. Is that what the VAST Academy tries to address, that gap?
Yes, exactly. We partner with the school districts. We partner with some of our community agencies, but the transition area is not just transition from high school to college, but we also give support with transition from the VAST Academy courses, which are continuing education non-credit courses, to college credit, and also making those transitions to work for employment and even independent living. So when we talk about transition, we're looking at all of those areas.
So transition, when we think in the educational context about going from high school to college, in this context it could be going from home with parents to home by oneself or with a partner or more independently in the community, right?
Yes, exactly. And we have classes, independent living courses, and we do have a residential component now where we've partnered with the center on West Dallas. They have a whole floor reserved just for VAST Academy students, and in fact that floor is full. They're getting ready to open a second floor, and so this way the students have a chance to live independently with some support, and they can then attend the classes at Houston Community College. We don't have dorms at this time, so we're trying to sort of simulate that kind of dorm life, but yet the residential support that these students need. And some of our students have, after they've graduated, have moved out and gotten their own apartments with roommates because of that experience, being able to live at the center and break away from their parents a little bit and start to learn how to live on their own.
So when we talk about people with intellectual disabilities or youth with intellectual disabilities, we're talking about kids who may have had difficulty keeping up with the other students in elementary school. Maybe they were coming along a year or two later in mathematics or reading or writing. Is that a fair description?
Yes, well, we say that, you know, the Vast Academy serves students with intellectual disabilities, but we also like to say we serve a broad range of students with a broad range of abilities. We focus more on abilities. That's why I love being on your show. In fact, our Disability Support Services office is called Ability Services. So we do try to focus on the abilities and the, you know, of each of our students and their career interests. Our Vast Academy certificate, one of our main certificates, is called Occupational Skills, and it's a career readiness certificate. And so every student has different skills and different interests that they want to go into. So it's not specific to one type of career. We try to look at each student individually and see where, you know, what is their goal, what is their dream, and we try to help them to make those transitions, whether it's to college, after they leave VAST to go to a college credit workforce program, whether it's to go out and do an internship and seek employment, or whether to live independently.
So these kids who may have had difficulty in school, may have found it very, very challenging, go to the Houston Community College, some of them even for credit.
Yes.
And at the same time, they have the opportunity to learn life skills, independent living skills as you've described them. The program must be highly individualized because these students all have, as you point out, different abilities. And it seems to me like a very involved program. You have a lot of staff there at HCC managing the program?
Yes, well, you know, we started many years ago with just one instructor, and that, of course, that was myself. That was in 1992. However, the program back then was much different. It was more of an enrichment life skills type program under continuing education. It was even adult basic ed at one time. But through the years, we realized that there was this population of students coming out of high school that really wanted to go to college like their peers and their family members. And so we kept, you know, getting with our school district partners to see what can we do to help with that transition when they leave high school, because there really wasn't much out there. The most that was out there was maybe sheltered workshops. That was about it. Or they would sit home and, you know, watch TV, go to sheltered workshops. So we wanted to give them a chance to have post-secondary educational opportunities, and so they could access the college environment and the student life. And after we started doing that, we had to keep changing and updating our curriculum, because we realized that the students really had the capability, many of them, to go on to even college credit programs. So we eventually became now a career readiness type certificate. We also have a office skills training certificate, and we're looking at doing a mail clerk apprenticeship certificate, partnering with our regular apprenticeship program that we have at Houston Community College. But I think primarily the programs that our students from Vast Academy move into as far as credit are usually in the workforce area and the workforce certificates. So we are actually now the Vast Academy under the workforce division of Houston Community College.
Okay, I know the program has a lot of support from parents. I've visited with a lot of parents. These parents were very concerned about their kids sometimes, what would happen to their children if they passed on, or if they were no longer able to care for their kids. And these kids, they referred to them sometimes as children, but they were adult children and middle-aged, some of them. With this program now, I think a lot of the parents feeling more secure that their children can actually be more independent, that they can maintain their own residence, that they can maintain their own place and quality of life in the community, and that they can actually do gainful work.
Yes, and our parents, we look at our parents as partners. However, you know, we don't have parents sitting in the classrooms. You know, we also have to explain to our parents that they are in college now and they are adults. We try not to, you know, we usually don't even speak to the parents without the student present. But with our program in the Vast Academy, we also welcome the participation of the parents. We need their support. In fact, we have a parent support group and a parent resource group so that we can help parents to identify different resources in the community that will help, such as, you know, Social Security benefits, things like that, so that they don't lose their benefits. A lot of the parents are worried, you know, well, my son or daughter will lose their SSI if they get a job. And so we try to connect them with Social Security and with specialists, so they can understand that there are programs out there that they don't have to lose all of their benefits.
Sometime back, we had one of your students and his mother on the program, and I found it interesting in talking to them that the first day that the student was going to the Vast Academy, mother took him to school, and he thought that was fine, that was normal for him. And a few days later, when mother took him to school, he said, I'm an adult now, I can get to school on my own. She said, how will you do that? He said, I'm going to ride the bus. So early on in his program, he learned about the possibility for him to use public transportation, and the mother admitted that she rode with him on the bus the first couple of days. But after that, he was making his own way to and from school, and she was very, very happy at the progress that he had made, and obviously very supportive of the program.
Yes, and we, we have orientations, and we have a formalized admissions process where they have to come in and meet with us, and we meet with the parents, but we do explain to the parents, that this is we want the students to be independent. The parents are not to be in the classrooms, although we do, conference with parents. We include them. We have a person-centered planning approach too, so we involve, parents, family, the VAST team, community partners such as the rehabilitation. We have many students that are sponsored by Department of Assisted and Rehabilitative Services as well, and so we work very closely with those counselors. And some are with MHMRA as well, but the majority of our students now, I think, are coming out of high school, directly out of high school. They're expecting to go to college, just like any student. The difference is that we do work probably more closely with parents in Vast Academy than maybe other college programs do, but we don't allow parents to come in and, be in the classes and hover over their students. Sure. They do have to realize that the students, we're trying to help the students to become more independent and encourage that. And I think that we have parent involvement volunteers that will help with certain events sometimes and programs. I know out at our Northwest Vast Academy, because we have another Vast Academy out at our Northwest College now in the Spring Branch area, and there's a parent group out there that gets together and helps out with when they do community service projects with the Eagles Club. They help out with graduation and different events. So we do encourage the parents to participate.
The main program is located at the downtown main campus of Houston Community College.
Yes.
That's the legacy program, the one you started so many years ago. But it's expanded now. You have a program at Northwest.
We have a program, a very successful program at Northwest. It's a little bit smaller than, obviously with these types of programs, you don't want them to be too large. I would say 30, 40, 50 students maximum. In fact, many of the TIPSIT grants around the country that are having programs at universities and colleges, they're starting with 9, 10, 15, 20 students. Some of them are having them take college credit classes as well. But when we started way back, we started even before ADA in 1991. And in order for us to get more support and get funding, we kept, and there was a huge need. We were the only ones doing it. So everyone wanted to come to Central College. Now we're trying to have more programs at some of our sister colleges. In fact, Northwest is very successful now with our program out there. We have about 50, close to 60 students out there. And Southwest College now is working with us to develop something in that area, maybe in the Stafford, Missouri City, Fort Bend area.
Well, we want to talk about how a student might be considered for admission there. We'll do that after we take a break, Sue.
Okay.
I want to thank all of you for watching Focus on Abilities today. We'll be back right after this break with important information about the Vast Academy at HCC. Stay tuned. You're watching Focus on Abilities. I'm Lex Frieden, and we're here today with Sue Moraska, Director of the Vast Academy at the Houston Community College. Sue, we promised before the break we'd tell people how they could get information about the program. There may be parents watching, there may be students who are interested in the program, there may be sponsors who are interested in contacting you. How do they reach you at the Vast Academy?
Well, I think they can call 713-718-6666. 888-6832. That is our main VAST Academy phone number. They can also go to our website, and it's very simple, just VAST, V-A-S-T, .hccs.edu. And a lot of the information on how to enroll and what we offer and even the forms for admission are all there on the website.
And Sue, I just want to re-emphasize the integrated nature of this program. I mean, it's not a freestanding program. It's integrated with the Houston Community College.
Yes.
It's a part when kids go to this school. It's not like going to a special program at the center or at any other social service agency. This is not a social service agency. It's an educational program. You're, you know, part of one of the largest community college systems in the country. Highly recognized nationally, and the school is, but also the academy. So I really think that's a model for other communities, other schools, and I'm proud to say in our city we have such a program. Sue, it was your invention. How many years? 21 years ago?
Thank you. Yes. Well, I don't know if it was necessarily my invention, but I was definitely there at the beginning. I was the first instructor. But it was actually a parent. We were talking about parents earlier. It was a parent that was very determined for her daughter to go to college, and she bugged that president that we had, Dr. Jim Engel. He was the president at that time, and they hired me. And of course, at that time, we were just ABE GED program, and then it grew to where it is today. But we started, you know, very humbly with a small program. But,
so excuse me. The first program was to help kids with intellectual disabilities get a GED.
It wasn't even GED. It was more of a life skills, kind of like a continuing education. It was under the ABGD program, but it was more of a chance to access the community college and continue their learning. Some of them already had employment. Employment wasn't the big goal at that time. But then we realized the younger generation that's coming right out of high school that wants to go to college traditional like everyone else, traditional like their friends and peers and family. So we eventually started a transition program with HISD, and that was called Life Skills. So that's when we changed our name to VAST, Vocational Advancement and Skills Training. But we are very integrated. That's my big goal and vision of this program, is to be more inclusive. And I think that our program has become, our students are integrated in every way possible in the community college. We're not a separate program. We do offer classes that are for students with intellectual disabilities, but we have students who are transferring into credit classes with other students who do not have disabilities. Our students are very involved with student life on campus. We have the Eagles Club, student organization, student government, and our students, they present at conferences, they get student leader awards. Some of our students in VAST have become student leader of the year for the whole college.
Wow.
So they do participate. They presented at workshops. You know, we put on workshops on campus that our students are facilitating where other students can participate.
Do you have instructors there with these kids who may be in class who are surprised that these youth have intellectual disabilities?
Oh yes, in fact many times we have people come and say, why is she in your program? Why is he in your program? What is their disability? Of course I have to tell them, you know, I can't tell them what their disability is, it's confidential, but they do tend to be surprised as to, you know, they're just amazed. Sometimes our administrators are amazed at the students because they will come in and visit. A lot of times our president and our deans will meet our students and tell stories about how the student comes by to visit them. We also have had internships on campus. So some of our students are actually working and getting work experience in different departments on campus too.
Well, not only on campus, but I know your students are working throughout the community. We have one who's an intern at TIRR now.
Yes.
Some are located in various businesses around town. It's just the kind of development and collaborative exercises you've engaged in are remarkable. And, you know, that's to your credit. So what's your background? What prepared you to develop this program?
Well, you know, a lot of people think that, you know, I must have a son or daughter or somebody with a disability, but I think when I was growing up, I grew up in Upper Michigan in a small little town, Norway, Michigan. I don't know if anyone's heard of that. It's near Green Bay, Wisconsin, on the border. And I think when I was going to school, even as a child, I had a cousin who lived down the street who had a developmental disability.
Wow.
And his mother was very involved with Special Olympics and things like that. And so I think my involvement first there, gave me that experience and that passion and that concern for this population. And then when I went off to college, I actually went into court reporting, of all things. I don't know what I was thinking, because I love to talk, and court reporters sit there and they don't talk. But I think when I was in college, I eventually, after my first year, realized I needed to go into teaching, and I went in to get my bachelor's in special education. And then when I moved to Texas, I just went right into teaching in special education in the public school system and NHISD, and I was a resource teacher at first. And then I taught at A-Leaf, and there I taught even students that had emotional and behavioral concerns. And but when I came to Houston Community College, it was the developmental, students with developmental disabilities that seemed to be, and I felt called for some reason. I felt this, the first day I walked in, I just had that feeling like I was supposed to be there.
Well, it is interesting, the things that motivate you in your life, and sometimes you don't always know it. But I had an experience not unlike yours. Probably the end of it, hopefully, was a little different. But when I was a child, a young man down the block from me had a developmental disability. And Craig used to play with the rest of us on the block. I mean, he'd come to the house and swing on the swings with us. He'd go to the Cub Scout meetings and everything. And at some point, he disappeared. He literally disappeared. And I remember asking my mother, what happened to Craig? His parents are still there, but he's not there anymore. And Mother tried to explain to me that he went to a, quote, special school, that they sent him away to a residential school. And I'm like, hey, he's in the 3rd grade. What are you talking about? I hope not to go away to school until I go to college. This is remarkable, And we really didn't think about him as being different from the rest of us. I mean, he played. He wasn't the fastest runner, but neither was I. He couldn't add as quickly as everybody else, but others were slow at other things, and he was just part of the community. And then to disappear like that and be told he went to a special school, that was, we couldn't understand that. And then later on, as I began to learn about how people with different disabilities are treated in our country, and this was in the 1970s and even into the 1980s, you recall, it wasn't unusual for kids with intellectual disabilities to be placed in facilities.
In state schools.
Well, and there's some still today, in Texas. So we've made a lot of progress, and thanks to programs like yours, I think we'll continue to make progress. The example is Sterling, and what do you think the next step for the VAST Academy is?
Well, I think that the movement that's happening, it is a movement that's happening around the country now, where these post-secondary programs, they're calling them CTPs, Comprehensive Transition Programs, are popping up around the country even more now, in universities even, and inclusion, full inclusion, students actually taking credit classes. Some of them are auditing them, but they thinkcollege.net is the place to go to. Thinkcollege.net. That is actually also our coordinating center for our Department of Education grants. And that way you can see what's going on around the country. And I think that we meet regularly through conference calls, and we have a project directors meeting every year where we meet and share best practices. So I think that the next step for us here at Houston Community College, well, obviously we also want to expand more. We have the program at Northwest, and we're talking about Southwest. We'd love to expand more there, and we'd love to do more with helping our students to, actually go into the mainstream of the college as well. But employment is still very critical too, helping our students find those jobs that they can keep, and competitive employment, not those menial jobs that in the past many of our students.
That's the other thing. I mean, you kind of hit my hot buttons now, that we have so many employment programs in this country now, not as many as before, but still these programs that pay sub-minimum wage to people simply because they have a disability of one sort or another. Not all of them, by the way. People with intellectual disabilities, they're paid sub-minimum wage, and somehow we can be proud of that. I don't think that's right. because those people are just as productive, doing just as hard a work, doing the same jobs as other people in the same industry and business who are being paid a fair wage. So the fact that you're trying to promote the jobs that are in the competitive employment market, that's another kind of example, I think, that more people need to follow.
And thank you. And I think that what we've found now, the best success that we've found with employment for our students, not only the training and the certificates that we offer them, but the internship is critical, because we're now identifying more employers who are offering internships, and then once they see what our graduates can do, then jobs are opening up. Sometimes they're even creating employment because they want to keep that student. We have Rise School, for example. We're going to honor them next week. The Rise School has already hired 4 of our students as teacher aides.
That's very cool.
And yeah, and we now have Texas for internships. We have Texas Children's, MD Anderson, Shriners, Tier. We now have Hilton Americas. We have a student there that wanted to work at a hotel, and right now he's doing kind of hospitality and bellboy type work. But I think what we do is we try to find out what the student, what their interest is, but what their skills are. And then we try to find, you know, some type of internship experience so that they can, you know, be successful. And with our career readiness certificate that they get, they're ready to go into just about any job.
That's great. So, Sue, once again, as we near the end of the program, I want you to give people the phone number to call and the website to visit.
Okay, the number to call is 713-718-6833, and our website is vast.hccs.edu.
Okay. Thanks so much, Sue, for being our guest on Focus on Abilities today. And thanks to Houston Community College for hosting a wonderful program there. I want to thank all of you for watching our program today. Sue Moraska has been our guest today, and we've learned a lot about one very important program in our community, the VAST Academy at HCC. I want to thank all of the sponsors of Focus on Abilities and also HTV for helping to produce this wonderful program, and I hope that you all will enjoy this, but come back next time for more Focus on Abilities. Thanks for watching. I'm Lex Frieden. Please join us again next time.
Focus on Abilities is brought to you by Tier Memorial Hermann, redefining rehabilitation, removing barriers, re-enabling independence. In the ILRU Southwest ADA Center, promoting compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act.